Yeah. What's up, y'all? Bonus episode for the end of 2023. BlkPrint in the building. ASF List 2023. J5 here. Josh Pease.
Hey, man. Had to do it for y'all. A couple people asked for it. So, we had to, do a special one.
Hey, come on.
Got my man Mark out here in Los Angeles. PT time.
Hey, I was
tell his job.
Please don't, please.
Hey, man, I gotta say once again, I'm super proud of you being out here, but also super funny because every single episode you're gonna be like somewhere different. Like last episode, you first got here and you were like, or I think the other side of the room, and now you're on the other side of the room. You get more stuff. That's gonna be the funniest thing about you moving out here to me.
Last episode, I was on this kitchen island. It was super hollow. I only had a TV on a box. Now the TV, thankfully, is on the wall. There's a bed. There's a couch. So it's getting homely. In more ways than one. Inside the house, outside in Los Angeles. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the love. So I appreciate that.
Have you had In-N-Out yet? I meant to ask that last week.
Yeah, like at least 3-4 times already.
Oh, for real?
Oh, you in the game? No, honestly, I have In-N-Out damn near like at least twice a month.
Seriously?
Easily. It's like right around the corner from my house.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
It's open late.
Yeah.
It's always a line, but I always pull up.
What's blown my mind is every single In-N-Out, no matter if it's the one down the street, 5 minutes from here, 10 minutes from here, every single In-N-Out has a fucking line.
Yeah.
Long line.
Yeah.
Even in Burbank, there was a long
all the time
line. I'm like, every In-N-Out here has a line?
The one in Burbank, I've never gone to that one. The one by the AMC?
Oh, yeah.
That one's always crazy.
No, there's a line at everyone. Now that I live by one and I could see it as I'm coming home all the time, there's a line every single day.
It's crazy.
All the time.
It's crazy.
It's really, really ridiculous.
And again, like I hate to go on like a tangent here, but there was a big argument about In-N-Out again.
Yeah.
And somebody that I follow, I retweeted them too. They said something really interesting because it's like the argument is just super tired about In-N-Out. It's like, if you don't live out here, you don't really like get it. You don't really understand like what it is. But somebody tweeted, "I'm not here to tell you that it's the greatest food in the world. It's cheap, consistent, and I've eaten it my whole life, so I'm a big fan. If you don't vibe with it, don't go so I can get my animal fries faster." That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, the people who talk about it aren't from LA.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a tired conversation. It's one of those Twitter threads.
Yeah.
I'm definitely over it. But In-N-Out had a big 2024 too. They expanded. I think they opened the first one in maybe
Texas?
Ohio or
I thought it was Texas. No?
No, I think it was past Texas because they've had them in Texas before, I think.
Was it Iowa?
Iowa.
Yeah, it was Iowa.
One in Iowa, and the line was like blocks long. People waited 8 hours.
Because if you think about how cheap In-N-Out is here, think about how much more cheap it is in Iowa.
Yeah, it's about to make a killing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get an In-N-Out franchise, honestly.
Do they do franchises that much? Aren't they all kind of contained?
I forget what it is, but there is a way to open one. I don't know if it's considered a franchise technically or if you're just like an operator, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm open one up.
I didn't know also because my mom wanted.
Shout out to Mark's mom. Shout out to Mark's mom too. She was out here. I met her.
Oh yeah, she's definitely the mastermind. Oh yes, absolutely. We had some really good sushi between myself, Jess, 5. We had a good time out there on, what was that, Saturday afternoon, I think?
Yeah, it was Saturday, right before Christmas.
One thing that blew my mind was that, well, not really blew my mind, but I was actually pretty interested about that. In-N-Out taking a stand against any of these order apps. They're not on DoorDash. They're not on Uber Eats.
Oh, I thought you were about to say a stand against something else. I was like, where is he going with this?
Because like In-N-Out is super
conservative.
Christian.
Yeah, but they're not on any of the apps. You're right. Yeah, they're taking a stand.
Are they? They're like Chick-fil-A levels of Christian.
Next time you get an In-N-Out cup, look under the cup.
Yeah.
What am I going to see?
Big
wow. I'm kind of interested in that.
You're going to see a scripture.
Yeah.
No way.
Swear to God.
Y'all dead ass?
I forget which one it is, but it's definitely a scripture.
Yeah, you'll see a scripture. I don't know if it's different ones every time, but you definitely see a scripture. It's like the Snapple.
Yeah, you got to read up on In-N-Out. There's a book recently that just came out about the family who started it.
Yep.
Really
crazy.
good book. I haven't read it yet, but I've been hearing a lot about it.
They're paid and they're crazy.
I mean,
I did not know that.
I knew you was about to say,
I'm just saying, man, some people say crazy, some people say genius.
Yeah,
my In-N-Out order is actually super simple too. I'm not a big animal style guy. I'm sorry. I'm still kind of warming up to this thing. At first, my first couple of years of trying In-N-Out, the 1-2 times I tried it, wasn't impressed. Now that I have an address, I guess I've kind of warmed up to it a bit, but my thing is super standard. It's kind of like just cheeseburgers, and that's it. And I've done some double doubles. Double doubles, you can't really do double doubles all the time.
That's because you got the bubble guts. But
yeah, I can't do anything but a double double.
But a double double?
Double double animal style, no spread, no pickle, add chilies, add a whole grilled onion.
Mustard fried too.
Yeah,
gotta do the mustard fried.
Well, if you get an animal style, that's
it's automatically. It's automatically mustard fried. But it's just so consistent. Like it's always gonna taste the same no matter what In-N-Out you go to. You've seen it already, Mark. The ones that you've gone to taste the same every time. McDonald's, you might get like a, you know what I'm saying, the fries might be lukewarm. Every time you go to In-N-Out is made direct to order. And that's why people go. That's why it's such a big deal. So, you're local now.
Yeah.
And you see it. In-N-Out is a staple. And speaking of staples, this is a special episode that we're putting out a little bit early. Don't worry, you're still gonna get the regular episode. We're just giving you guys something, a little gift, if you will.
Yeah, a little something. A lot of people have been asking for it. Just dropped a list on the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't Shit Funny 2023 list. It's crazy, man. Every year I get down to like once I get to December, I'm like, man, I'm so tired of doing this shit.
No.
No, every year, never fails. But I think this year was special for reasons that it hasn't been special in the past. I think this year was just kind of like a very much a down year. It's funny, I was talking about Patrick Mahomes the other day, and I was like, I said this at the beginning of the season, he's in a decline year. And I think as a culture, we're in a decline year. And, in that decline, things are happening and there's things to be thankful for and things that inspire us. But it's not as great as it could be. But there is opportunity in that, as I mentioned in the caption. I think there's, this is a chance for new artists and new people and new creatives and new references to rise up. But yeah, man, Ain't Shit Funny List 2023. People are always like, what makes you the person that put out this list? And what do you know? And what? I'm tired of this list. No, that's always the feedback. And I hear you. What makes me eligible? I feel the same way. I think it's just I take the initiative to do it. Anyone could do it. I just do it. So
it's like remember we had blogs, we had Zangas and live journals. Like this is you're kind of carrying that over and continuing in it, but in once a year format. And I think that's why it's interesting. Everybody's vlogging.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just my it fulfills my dream of being one of those talking heads on one of those VH1. I love the 80s shows or something like that. I love the 90s.
Because you could go back in the list and it's a time capsule.
Yeah, it's a time capsule. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I
think that's the one thing that gets people so like riled up. I think it's a comprehensive list of what's going on in the culture and the community, but it absolutely is my opinion. If you don't agree with it, make your own list. There was actually a year where a ton of people copied me and made their own list.
Yes.
I remember Johnny Shipes and Smokers Club did one. Few people did it. It was like one particular year, but they don't have the consistency that I have. They didn't do it the following year.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
But you're also chronicling as the year goes on. Every year, I'm always like, is he going to put that on the list? Like I'm like the crypto year. We talked about crypto a lot that year.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course it's going to be on the list. But like this year, to me, you had some struggles, some challenges coming up with kind of the major points this year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say struggles as so much as that. Like I said, this year just wasn't the most exciting year. And there's just things that just didn't stick with me. And then, I go to my brain trust when I have my like kind of working list and you guys add on and have, perspective and remind me of things. But yeah, I wouldn't even say it's so much of a struggle. It's just that it just wasn't exciting.
You know why? No Future album.
Yeah, it's crazy. No Future album, but I saw a stat that he was like one of the top 5 streamed artists this year.
Crazy. Off of what song though?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of features.
Yeah.
It had like the Don Toliver feature with
Justin Bieber. Yeah.
That'll help you out.
Like he's become so ubiquitous as an artist that like even in an off year, he's still being listened. I listen to his Future. Like he was in my top 10 this year.
Yeah, he's in my top. Right. He's in my top. I think he's my top artist.
Yeah, like no matter where it is, he just got so much music that you're gonna listen to him anyway. But I would attribute the lack of a Future album to the fact that nobody had a wave to ride off of this year. That's what I'll say. That's my prediction. And also no Thug.
No Thug. I mean, I think for Future, it's like he's not like every album guy or every year.
He was. Now he's like an every other year guy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's always been an every other year.
No, I mean, Mark, you probably got the stats better than me. He had dropped their album every year from 2015 on, right? Correct?
Let's take a look. If not, he's been involved in some form of project. Let's take a look here.
DS2. He dropped 2 in 1 year, or 3 in 1 year, because he had DS2, Evil, and
he didn't drop anything in 21.
That's because he dropped that we don't talk about that album.
Which one?
High Off Life. He had dropped that in 2020.
and then he hit.
Yeah, that was during COVID.
He did the Baby Pluto album. The album
that was in the fall.
That was in 20. Yeah, 22 he came back. 23 no album. He's like every other year guy.
No, it's 19. It was Beast Mode, right?
19 was Save Me. 19 was The Wizard. Wizard's actually about to turn 5 in a couple of weeks.
Shit.
And yeah, that was it.
And then 18 he has something. Yeah, he's
18. He had the album with Juice World. 18 was the Superfly soundtrack. Yep. 18 was Beast Mode 2. Yeah,
he just started being every other year. And I think it's because he just had so much music. But again, we're arguing semantics. I want to get to the fashion part of the list, and I picked out a couple of talking points that we could talk about, and I just want to get our opinions on it and what your thought process was going into it.
Yeah.
And then kind of talk about like the culture of like what happened with this certain things that happened throughout these points. Supreme NBA YoungBoy collab. We talked about this at length. I want to say 5-6 episodes ago when we talked about Tremaine Emory, one of our biggest clips.
He actually made the list too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Denim Tears honorees.
I mean, was it begrudging or was it?
I mean, the shit was polarizing.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a word I'm gonna use a few times this episode. But for the Supreme YoungBoy collab, I just think it was just a moment. I think Supreme has always kind of looked towards rappers of the past to kind of have as their photo tees, and to do someone who was just such an icon in the moment.
Yeah.
It just was a moment to me. I thought it was really dope. I think the way they kind of promoted it out was just the photos of him and his son. And photos with him on the floor with the money. That was kind of like a tie back to the Raekwon shirt. It was just dope, man. I think that was one of my favorite t-shirts of the year. Probably one of the only t-shirts I bought, because I'm usually just a white or black tee guy. But that was a t-shirt that I actually like actively went out and bought and wore with pride. So I was happy to see that come out. And was happy to put it on the list this year. Yeah,
and to your point of it being kind of like a time capsule, it's them looking forward and not looking back.
Mm-hmm.
We had Morrissey on one tee, we had Rick Rubin on one tee, Andre 3000, was on a tee 2 years ago.
I still don't know why Morrissey matters, but
I mean the Smiths. I was listening to the Smiths today.
Oh my gosh.
Josh hates alternative for whichever reason, but he likes alternative. So I'm lost.
The Smiths is one of the biggest like bands ever.
I could say some bullshit
right now. The Smiths were all throughout The Killers. The Killer on Netflix. That was what he was listening to the whole movie.
Oh, that's what he was listening to?
Yeah, it was The Killers, the whole movie.
Yeah, he need to switch it up.
Josh said he's not a Billy Joe Armstrong.
They spent probably, because Morrissey is a paper gangster, they probably spent so much money licensing those songs out for that movie. Netflix just gladly paid it. Like the end credits of The Killer was their biggest song called "There's a Light That Doesn't Go Out," and it was it's like their biggest song. It has like 500 billion streams on Spotify. I was just listening to it today.
The Killer didn't make my list for obvious reasons.
I thought The Killer was okay. It wasn't. I could see why it didn't make the list, but NBA, but also Supreme in general this year, I would say was a turn a corner year for them. I thought the collection this year, both of them were really, really solid. Yeah,
I was a fan of Supreme this year. I bought a lot of Supreme this year. I was just looking kind of through my closet. I did like a closet clean out the other day.
Yeah.
From the Letterman jacket to the Timberlands that just dropped, the jerseys that dropped this year, the fitted hats. I bought a lot of Supreme.
Yeah, I when I saw the jersey on the fall winter, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers, they coming back. Yeah. They coming and let niggas know. I still didn't get the varsity yet, but it's okay. I got the Palace varsity that I really wanted, so like I wasn't really too like tripping about it. But I'll spin the block for it a little bit later.
Yeah, I feel like I need to size down in my varsity. I got an XL. It feels a little big.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you're tall, nigga.
I got long arms. I think I
but
might.
you thought you was buff at that point.
I mean, I am.
But going also within that, another brand that had a turn the corner year, Nike SB.
Oh yeah, big year for Nike SB. Somebody asked me like, why SB on the list? But I mean, you look at just the output this year.
Doritos Dunks.
Born and Raised Dunks.
The
Supreme collab. The Jordan 4. Powerpuff Girl pack.
The Jordan 4 was a lot of people's sneaker of the year this year, which I was shocked about.
Great shoe. I wish I would have got it.
I like completely slept. I was like, I mean, they're a white and green Jordan 4. I did not. I had so many opportunities to buy that shoe before it reached up to $400 in resale, and I never bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me, how I knew Nike SB, Nike SB was big when I was in high school. Fell off. But this was the year I bought a few pairs.
Yeah,
and it's been so long since I've bought a pair. I forgot that you kind of got to size up half a size. So all my SBs were just super tight on the feet.
Yeah.
But I still rock them. The Born and Raised collab, one of my favorite shoes ever. Just all the little pieces and things that go with it in the story being told.
Yep.
Super dope. And then with Sponto's passing, of course, it just made it that more special. Nike SB had a strong year. Shout out to Bryce Chapnick. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He was one of the designers there. He actually left this year.
Yeah.
Big fan of him and just, what he brought to the company.
What else did he design, do you know?
He designed the thermal one that they had. That was like the heat thing.
But you could wipe it and it would change color.
There was like a jiu-jitsu collab. That was like his last one that he did. But I know he's a part of like a lot of the stuff that came out this year.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of Born and Raised, a big year for them. You put on the list Born and Raised Levi's collab. Huge moment for them, just all over. I mean, not only that, but the Nike SB, but the Levi collab as well.
Yeah, I mean, back to what I said, storytelling. I think that was one of my favorite photo lookbooks of the year. I think just him, Sponto mixing his Native American heritage and with just the Levi story, which, is kind of goes against the Native American heritage when you think about, cowboys and things like that.
But he's taking it back.
Yeah, taking it back. And I think, just the design of it all was super dope. I remember hitting him personally when that came out, like, yo, this shit is fire. And the day it dropped, I bought the whole capsule. So
this is why you're doing a closet clean out now.
Yeah, it is, honestly. Kept those though. That's a good pair of jeans though. The washed ones and the ones with the leather on there. I was like, oh, he really snapped there. So
but again, it's blending LA culture as it was with things that are everyday. I mean, Nike SB is an everyday thing. Levi's are an everyday thing. I mean, the Rams, all of the collabs we had this year, everyday things, and they managed to kind of be a part of the conversation in a way where it's like, okay, now if you're from Michigan, if you're from New Jersey, of Born and Raised because they had the biggest shoe of the year. They had the biggest collabs of the year. And like you said before on one of our episodes, they've worked with everyone. So it was actually shocking that they hadn't done anything with Nike and Levi, and they did it all in 1 year.
Yeah. And then, the NFL collab, they did every team this year. That was super dope. I was always a fan of what Sponto was doing with Born and Raised, but I think this was the year that they kind of exploded.
Yep.
Sad just not have him here to kind of experience that and relish it at all. But I love the way that Alex is carrying on his legacy.
Yep, absolutely. And this is a little bit away from what we were talking about. You also have on this list flash mob retail theft.
Oh yeah, big year for that.
Can you explain? A lot of people probably like kind of scratch their head at like what that was. But what was that?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been paying attention to the news, there was just a point. I think it started maybe in the summer.
Yeah,
where kids in all different cities. It wasn't just Los Angeles. They were just running into luxury stores and stealing everything, just smash and grabs. But just clothing and things. And as soon as I put this list out, somebody hit me and was like, bro, every girl in DC got a Chanel bag for her for Christmas because of this. And, I think that was just, that was a testament to the moment. It was really big in Los Angeles. There was like teams going out and hitting all the different stores. But, you've seen it in New York. You've seen it in Chicago. You've seen it in Philly. So shout out to the kids out there, man, because I think that's a very young Gen Z thing that's going on right now.
I mean, taking it back from the corporations and the capitalists. They need to make a movie about this.
I mean, I'm sure somebody working on it. They're closing stores down because of this.
Yeah.
Like in SF, they're literally closing down stores
because they got hit so badly.
Yeah, they got hit so badly, and it's just like they repeatedly get hit.
Oh, so they kept going back.
Yeah, it's like you can't keep anything in stock.
And the thing is like the security there, they don't carry guns. It's literally just niggas in black outfits.
And that's the thing. It's like it's a strength in numbers type thing. So it's like you get 4 or 5,
can't get us all
10 kids.
Yeah,
you're not getting none of them. And then it's not. And the crazy part is, it's not just luxury stores. It's Nike Town.
Was it Best Buys?
One of my favorite stories of the year. Oh man, this is how I know LA is foolish. There's a Nike Town in Watts. It's like one of the only Nike stores over there. It's on the east side.
Yeah.
It's in Watts, so that's already kind of giving it the edge. Never really been robbed like that before, honestly. These kids were hitting it, and it got so bad that the gangsters in the hood was like, yo, we tired of y'all stealing from our neighborhood store. We about to be camped out in the parking lot waiting for y'all to stop y'all. And there was a whole story in the news. They was interviewing some of the dudes from the different hoods. It was like, yeah, we're not letting this go down no more.
That's funny as hell.
So I think, that's just the impactfulness of these flash mob retail thefts. They've turned these gangsters into like Robin Hood characters where they're like, yo, they're turning into like the what do they call it? The neighborhood watch.
Yeah, and I bet you that store never got hit again.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. So yeah, that had to make my list this year. Another like cultural fashion pick this year was what was it?
Tabby Thief.
The Tabby Thief.
Yeah.
Man, that was one of my favorite stories of the year, man. Shout out to TikTok too, because TikTok can make my list every year. If you guys don't know the story, a young woman met a man on Tinder.
Yes.
They went out on a date, had a great date. She invited him back to her apartment. They're, vibing, talking. They actually start talking about her fashion and his fashion choices and yada, yada, yada. They end up having sex. Next morning, she wakes up. He's gone. And her tabbies are gone.
And if y'all don't know what tabbies are, they're little Ninja Foot Clan.
Ninja Foot Clan. So the Margiela shoes that have like the split down the toe.
They look like ninja shoes.
I got a couple pairs. I bought a couple pairs.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I got a penny loafer pair.
So how do your feet? Do your feet go like this in them?
Yeah, I mean you wear socks that properly.
How does that feel with your feet?
That would feel so.
That was
fun. It
like
feel that bad.
Feel like thong sandals. Like
I mean, yeah, I don't wear thong sandals, but I'm assuming that's how it feels.
John Cletas with jeans.
I've never wore those before. But yeah, actually, I'm a big fan of tabbies. I think those are a cool, innovative shoe. But you go to Japan, everyone wears them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
But so yeah,
it started such a discourse on TikTok about this guy stealing the tabbies.
What was the investigation? Fuck a discourse.
Yeah.
It was like an investigation to
like,
who this guy is.
What did he look? Because he had dated mad other girls off Tinder, did the same things to them. But I think what annoyed me was that it became like this big discourse about men on dating apps.
I missed all that. I missed the discourses.
You weren't looking.
I was into the investigation. So he stole them. He ended up giving them to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who he had a girlfriend and was on Tinder. That's crazy. This guy's a player. I need to interview him, actually. I need to get him on the show.
We need to get him on the show, yes.
Yeah. So he steals them, ends up re-gifting them to his girlfriend. His girlfriend's friend snitches on him. She sees a story going viral. She hits up the girl who got her shoes stolen. She's like, hey, I think that's my friend's boyfriend. He actually just gifted her a pair of tabbies. Like, do you have photos of the shoes? Maybe I could see.
So he gave her the tabbies, no box.
No box. Hey, man, thrifting, baby. I can see how you can wiggle into that one.
No box.
I thrifted these for you, baby. They hardly worn.
Hell no. I want any of the men that listen to this show or any of the women that listen to the show to tell me if that's something acceptable and that you're doing.
I mean, if you buy your girl sneakers from a sneaker store, sometimes they don't come with a box.
That's cap. They always come with a box.
Oh, some shoes. I think we're in a day and age where upcycled, recycled shoes and clothing is acceptable. If you might get some shit that just don't like have a box or don't.
If it's like worn. From Flight Club, if it's
Syndicate,
shout to Syndicate. Stadium
Goods right now.
If it's at Stadium Goods, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm giving my girl. Here's a pair of, how much are they?
Like 900.
Hell no.
Here's a pair of $950.
1,000 plus tax.
You don't think she like, damn, you know how when you wear some shit, they got the black thing and on the sole. They don't have them on them?
Well, this is my thing. It's like, we in a day and age in fashion where it's like thrifting is it. So you have stores like 2nd Street.
Yeah.
And, Buffalo Exchange, they don't, but Wasteland, these kind of stores that have Luke's in New York.
Yeah.
They sell thrifted clothing, no box, lightly worn. In fashion, that's the thing. That's what all these people do. All these fashion motherfuckers that be posting fits every day, they buy something once, wear it, and sell it.
My question is, do you think he was prowling for girls to have sex with that had the exact shoe size of his girlfriend?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you what it was. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. He fucked a bitch.
Yeah.
Felt guilty. I was like, I got to go back home with a gift. I got to go back home with a gift. I feel guilty for doing this on my girl. I need a gift. I think that's what it was.
Those are nice. He looked over all the Nikes, took the tabbies, and walked out the fucking door.
Wild part is, she said, like, during the course of the night, they, like, talked about the shoes. Like, he, like, picked them up and was looking at them. But also, I mean, shame on this girl for having a one-night stand and not watching the nigga. That's some bold move to have a one-night stand.
Fell asleep comfortable.
Like, she was comfortable. Fashion nigga got her.
He hit her with that's your bricks right there?
Oh, man. Crazy.
It took her shit. Next up on the fashion part. Fashion part was very robust this year.
Yeah, fashion was super robust. I think one thing that I did want to get to was just the term quiet luxury. Mm-hmm. I think that was a big term this year, thanks to Succession. If you don't know, you're not familiar. It's showing off your luxury style in a quiet and calm way.
Yeah, wearing Amazon cardigans.
Or not even just Amazon cardigans, but just brands that are logoless. I think we're in a time where there's a lot of logos and things. Now it's like the cashmere Margiela, or
Purple
like, remember
label.
that meme that was big where it was like he's like the guy in the corner, he's like, I'm standing in the corner. Oh, these people don't know I got a Margiela shirt on.
Yeah.
It's like the little dots on the back.
And they're like, look at this fucking loser in the corner.
Yeah, you know, like that's quiet luxury. And I think that's the thing that was big this year. I added to my list just because, like, I see a lot of it. I think I'm even a proponent of it, where it's like, I'm not trying to wear the loudest shit, but Josh, I got that shit on.
You're exactly. I'm like, Josh, you're
that's
far
real.
from loud.
Like, even like
from quiet.
Like, I'm just saying, like, when I got my Margiela tabbies on, my little penny loafers with my Levi's and a little sweater.
Josh feet be doing this, y'all. What kind of man?
Real man.
Hey, but he did say majority of his closet is white tees and black tees. Are you gatekeeping the white tees and black tee brand? I heard there's good brand. I'm going to give away.
I am gatekeeping, actually. I'll tell you, if you reach out to me, if you listen to this episode and you're like, I want to know what's the best t-shirt brand, I'll let you know. But
I've heard so if anybody's looking for good white tees or black tees, that Target actually has the solid white tees and black tees. Damn near designer is what my brother told me.
I haven't seen them yet. I know my spot got them. I know my white tee is good because I was just wearing one out one day and someone asked me, like, dog, what t-shirt is this? This shit is nice. I'm like,
this nigga Josh going to cost. Oh man! Last thing on fashion, we spent a lot of time. Who declares war?
Who decides war?
Sorry.
Who decides war? I added them. This is their second year, 2 times.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, last year we were talking about this.
Quietly one of my favorite brands, honestly. Like I buy a lot of this shit on the low. Shout out to Ev and his whole family. I think they're doing an amazing thing, and they just took over what Amiri was doing in hip hop. And we all saw that last year, but I think this year was just like stamping them even more. Rough Riders collab, Dipset collab, ESTG collab. You know, they just were doing it, and I think it's something, you know, the window pane shit they were doing was just super dope. They got some sweats they just dropped that had the same thing. They had these cargo pants that dropped this year that were really dope. It's one of my favorite brands, quietly. So I had to add them to the list. Excited to see what they do in 2024. Maybe they'll be a 3-time 3-peat winner. Yeah. But yeah, man, that was it.
Shout out to them. Next up, we're gonna go to the music part of the list. And first up, I would be remiss to not bring this up on the music part because he had so much of the conversation this year, whether good or bad, you know, hyped or unhyped. Elliott Wilson for sure had a banner 2023.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, polarizing.
Yeah,
polarizing year, man. I think, you know, just from his tweets to his interviews and just everything in between, he really impacted the culture. I think he kind of crazy to say, made a name for himself. Elliott Wilson's been someone who I've been reading and following since I was in middle school.
Absolutely.
But I think, you know, just as media progresses and Twitch streamers and podcasts and all these things start to come to the forefront, his name was just kind of buried behind a lot of these. But I think this was the year he kind of came back and was like, hey, like, I'm here for a reason.
Here.
And I still do good work. And I think, you know, a lot of the conversation around him was just a lot of his gripes, what was going on currently. But they're all legit gripes.
And I was going to say that. I think in a world where writing and actual journalism is a lot less important, he was able to still do the same thing. This is the same thing he roughly did in the XXL opening editor's notes.
Yep.
It's the same shit he was doing. He's just doing it in a sense where it's like people are just a lot more sensitive to that type of criticism. I'm like, the hip hop journalism thing, it's like, we should be having that conversation, and he's still sparking the conversation. And he's still taking the arrows and bullets for being the one to say it. Not a lot of people will say it.
He's taking the arrows for sure. His back is filled with arrows.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj arrow is like...
Man, somebody even responded to the tweet like they was going in. I can't even repeat what they said. Shit, you know how Twitter like blocks and shit? It's like, this might be... block what the person said. I was like, damn.
But it's like... It's necessary, and he's a necessary voice.
Yeah.
And there's very few voices like that we will actually listen to today, especially somebody that... has been around. He's been around the game over 2 decades.
No, you hit the nail on the head. He's an OG, and I think, he's someone that we need to always listen to and pay attention to. And, I think, it's funny because he was one of those guys who was like campaigning for the list before it came out. Like he hit me up like, yo, my interview with Tyler got to make the list. And I was like, damn, it's strong contender. That was a great interview. I loved it. And that started a lot of conversations just from stuff Tyler was saying and things that implemented the culture. But as I took a step back and just looked at the landscape of music and culture and the list, I was like, nah, nigga, you need to make the list as an individual. So
1 million.
Yeah. So
1 million. He'll just post 1 million.
Hey, man, I know his Twitter checks is looking nice.
Exactly. 1 million. Hey, the Twitter checks. How much is it, Elliot? Is it $30 or 30 cents? Let us know. Let us know. But congrats to Elliot Wilson for
shout out to
being on
him.
the list. Next up, let's lead into something else from that podcast beef, because he was involved in podcast beef this year.
Yeah.
But just in general, podcast beef was a thing this year. I put it in the music section because it kind of put a lot of
hand in hand.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand.
It was all over the place though.
It was
music, culture. It's the usual suspects of like the Joe Buttons and the Rory Mal, and then you got like the Adam 22 and the No Jumper,
Fig
and Tobacco and Fig, and it was just a lot of podcast beefs, man. And just like as someone who listens to podcasts, I was like, damn. Now I'm like, I'm invested in these beefs, and
the beefs be like deep lore, like the ones you just mentioned with T-Rail and Adam 22. It's like people going back to clips from back in the day. When I'm just like, this is like incredibly deep lore that I didn't even know about.
Exactly. Things I didn't know about, things I didn't want to know about. And it brought me to like, that's why I made my list. This is one of those things I hope stays in 2023, and also one of them things that has probably stopped me from listening to a lot of these like cultural podcasts. I think so many of them are just based around the beef. Yeah. That's like, okay, I just don't give a fuck about this. Like, I'd rather watch reality TV or watch a soap opera. That's what they feel like to me. Yeah. They feel like soap opera, reality TV. The next step is podcast beef. So I mean,
the biggest podcast beef, if you could beef with a podcast, actually a spinoff of the Elliot Wilson stuff, because Joe Budden gets involved in it, and then Drake. The Joe Budden Drake beef.
Yeah, the Joe Budden Drake beef. Yeah.
It made the album.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
It's crazy. It's just like, this shit's just interesting to me, man. It's shit that I really don't give a damn about. But I'm just like, I'm just thrown into and listening to just because like it's during my commute. Yeah. I can't turn it off fast enough. But yeah, man, I hope that's something that's just left in 2023.
Absolutely. And speaking of Drake, speaking of For All the Dogs, that also made it on the list. But bigger than that, J. Cole guest verses. Oh, yeah. I became a J. Cole fan this year.
Yeah. He's always been my favorite rapper. Since he wore my Prince jersey. Shout out to J. Cole.
Off the verses. Hey, first person shooter, can't deny it. Yep. All my life, wasn't a big fan of the song. J. Cole verse, amazing. Really, really good. Yep. Nicki Minaj album, killed it.
Great verse.
Probably one of my favorite verses of the year. You can't deny the guy this year. I feel like every song he touched. I mean, the Lil Yachty song.
Yes, the recipe.
Also crazy. Like he everything he touched was gold, and also he reached across to a lot of different people that you normally wouldn't hear him rap with, and I thought that was really dope.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite verses from this year was Audio Hug for Summer Walker. It was like an intro to her EP that came out this year. Beautiful verse, like damn near brings me to tears when I listen to it sometimes. Really made that album so much greater than it was, and I think he just popped up in a lot of places that you wouldn't expect him to. Right, the Yachty verse, the Dirk verse. Yeah. even the other Drake song he has on the project. What's that song
Evil
called?
Ways.
Evil Ways. Great guest verse. So yeah, man, no, Cole had him a hell of a year. I think it's turned people into fans, and I'm that more excited for his project to come out this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna be there day one. Usually I'll be like, but now like he's really killing it, and I think maybe it's just because he's rapping on songs that are more my cadence beat wise. I think that's really what it was. But huge fan of him this year, and I'm looking forward to the album. But I think from there was a strange kind of conversation to be had. Not a strange conversation, but like a big conversation to be had about the state of music this year. Like it's in a strange place creatively. We talked about it on the show before. You kind of see it on the list this year as well. Like very few really big musical genre shifting things that are on the list.
Yeah, no, I think music, we talk about this a lot, and it's just not that generation of the past is getting older. You know, the Drakes, the Kendricks, the Futures, the Coles, and that generation behind it, it just has no one's raised their hand and said I'm the best rapper.
Right.
No one's raised their hand and said I'm the best musician. And it just shows. I think that right now everyone's just about getting money and being the richest and having the most chains and being quote unquote the flyest, but
viral.
Viral, having a moment, but no one's just trying to have like a career or have a great album.
Yeah.
I think you can tell in just the way music is put out. We're heavy into snippet culture.
Yeah.
I think artists are so unconfident in their music that they're dropping snippets to see if we like it or not. That's what we're in. It's like, I wonder if they like this. You like it? You guys like it? Oh, they like it. Oh, let's put it out. It's like, it's a terrible place to be in musically. It's like, drop that shit and stand on it.
That's why I can appreciate, and this is going to come out of complete left field, but I think you'll feel me on this. I appreciate what Cardi's been doing.
Oh, yeah.
He's just been dropping the songs and the videos.
Cardi is a star, man. I'm going to tell you this much, man. Cardi almost made my list with songs that came out in the last
3 weeks
month
ago.
of the year.
Really? 3 weeks
ago.
Literally.
Almost made my list. I was like, no, he's going to have a bigger 24. So I'm going to let it ride.
And I was going to say, if that's what we have to look forward to, Cardi album is something I'm very much looking forward to. I think his last two were, again, genre shifting.
Yes.
We've talked about it on the show. They kind of signaled the end or the beginning of something that was about to happen. Die Lit was one. Whole Lot of Red was the end of something else. This to me, he's taking thug cadences. He's back to being at the gas station. I'm like, okay, Rockstar era over. Now we are, what he's on now.
I mean, whatever the fuck he's on.
Yeah, like I couldn't even name it. I was like, I guess the real gangster era because he's trying to beef with everybody.
I mean, from the lyrics, but then you look at him, you're like. No, man, Cardi is doing something amazing right now. I just like the way he's dropping music, just straight to YouTube, straight to Instagram. Like
it's dope, and the fans are actually the ones that are uploading his music, and he's getting a cosign for it. I think the Hood by Air video didn't even premiere on his channel; it premiered on a fan's channel.
No, that's like an Opium channel.
Oh, okay, I thought it was a fan.
That's like an Opium label channel.
I was like, what? The name is not. Definitely not that.
It's Opium or something like that.
Is it?
It's like with two O's. Everything he got going on is new. It feels new, man. It feels good. I must say, man.
But that's what we're missing in 2023. Yeah. Like that's the conversation. Like a lot of the stuff, like people had the conversation this year that we talked about. There hasn't been a number one song this year in rap. It's the longest drought. It's a number one song.
We talked about that too.
Yeah,
that was just a numbers game.
Yeah,
no one put anything out.
Yeah, like it's like that conversation. But I also think that in a way it goes hand in hand with the fact that if no one's putting anything out, it's because that nobody cared to. Nobody was trying to put out the best album at that point. The only person that I feel like actually cared this year was like Drake. That was the only person that like kind of was just like, oh, my album's coming out. It's going to be an event, and he made it so. And it became an event, and he even dropped a deluxe. This motherfucker don't ever drop fucking deluxe.
I think with Drake, it's just like Drake's Drake, so it's gonna be an event every time. But I'm looking for the new one, man. I think he's still from the generation of the past, where it's like I want to be the best.
Yeah,
who wants to be the best? I don't know if Uzi wants to be the best. I don't know if and Uzi probably is not the best example because I think he's a great rapper and he's talented in his own right. But I'm looking for that new star, man. I think there's a lot of kids in rap who are making a lot of money, but they're not. The skill ain't there.
Yeah,
and the thirst for it, the hunger for more. Like I hate to be like one of them old dudes in the studio.
No, it's
Like,
real.
we gotta take this shit back to the essence. Like, are you better than them? Are you making better songs than them? Like, show me.
That's why I could look at somebody like, remember The Game and how the game, everyone talked about how The Game would just like rap like other people, and I was like, but that was just showing like like he had influences, and he just wanted to be so much of a student of the game, so to speak, no pun intended, that he wanted to just do something different every time. Like I could say like legitimately, when he makes albums and shit, it's because he's trying to like, you might not like it. It might be full of stories and anecdotes that you don't listen to, but he's at least trying.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the last rappers that came from he's like 2 generations behind now, huh? But it's like he's still trying to do that. He's still trying to give you those experiences. But speaking of experiences, we talked about music videos like off show a couple of days ago, and you were like, "What were the best music videos of the year?" And I promise you, I was like dumbstruck. I was like, I don't even fucking.
The kids don't make music videos no more.
And if they do, it's like very low quality, like low rent. Like one of my favorite videos, and I forgot to fucking mention this too. The Sprinter video was one of my favorite videos of the year.
Oh yeah.
That reminded me of like an early 90s video.
That was a good video. Also one that didn't make the list that I thought was really good this year was Paris, Texas. I forget the name of the song, but it was like this video where it was all shot from the perspective of a bullet. It was like traveling, chasing this guy.
They took the corn freak on a leash.
Yeah, they did.
That.
And I knew I saw that from somewhere, but that was cool. Yeah, I mean, videos ran, but you had Drake and the first person shooter video. That's probably one of the greatest videos ever.
Yeah, that video's fire.
Yeah, shout out to Gibson Hazard. I think that was a great use of his skill. I think he's been mostly known as like
with the Gunna's guy.
You said what?
He's been Gunna's guy, right?
Yeah, has he done good?
Yeah, he did Money on My Head. He did what's the song from Wanna, the single from Wanna. He did both singles from Wanna. He did the
Skybox?
Yes, he did Skybox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always knew him as like the guy who shot like tour visuals and like he had that kind of vibe to him. Like that's how he started off doing a lot of this shit. But to see him do like a Drake video and just do it to that level was really dope.
Because his visual style is very much kinetic. It's very much like video gamey. Yeah. And that's what kind of gets people going. It's like, I will call his videos like Fortnite type videos because they're just so expressive and there's just so much shit going on. They really are to me. It's like there's so much shit going on. Like that last part of the first person shooter video looked like at the Fortnite festival, carnival, like the performance shit that they do. Like that's what it looked like to me. But the Michael Jackson influences that you might not get on the first hit, but it's like that's for us. Those are for the people that seen it, and for the kids, it's like the Office references in the video. Like there was a lot of like bridging the gap there that I really enjoyed. And speaking of bridging the gap, you put Victoria Monet's video for On My Mama in there as well. That's another bridge the gap video. They're dressed like 2004, 2005 Snap era. The Texas influence in it. Charlie Boy in it, like great fucking video. I mean, the choreography went viral.
Choreography was crazy, went viral as you mentioned. Took moments that happened from TikTok and remember with the grandmothers and put that in the video in some way. I think that was really dope, man. And then even just like the stuff around the video, like the BTS footage that you saw her dancing and the choreographer in the back shouting at her, and it's just moments like that. I was like, oh, this is a moment.
She put out a how-to video also.
Oh, I see. I missed that, and that's what I'm saying. Like I think. That was a moment. Yeah. A video moment. That reminds me of like back in the day when you had, 106 & Park, TRL making the video vibes. Yeah.
And go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was definitely agreeing. I think Victoria Monet, I think this was by far one of Victoria Monet's biggest singles. And I think music-wise, when you talk about artists that are actually taking this thing serious, one of the bigger moments that we talked about on the BlkPrint was Victoria Monet being a little bit upset of how MTV approached her regarding her performance. Now she's about to have a big night as far as the Grammys. She's nominated for a lot of big categories.
Boy, they look silly. I'll say that. I was like, they look kind of silly for doing that. But I mean, they could have been first, in all honesty. But I think Victoria Monet, to her credit, this year made a lot out of very little that she received. Like, I feel like she had really great videos. That wasn't just the only video she had. Like she had the video with Buju Banton that was really good. She had the joint with what's his name? Lucky Day that was really good, very creative. And she carried a visual style throughout it, the 70s kind of look of it. It looked very vintage. And even the album reflects that. But On My Mama, one of my favorite songs of the year, one of my favorite videos of the year. I had to make sure that I was like, oh yeah, that was one of the ones this year. And I thought that was, a crowning achievement of somebody that made a lot out of not what people would expect.
Yep.
Following up on that, Metro Boomin what can we say about this guy that we haven't already said? Grammy nominated album.
Yes.
This year. Red Bull Symphonic Concert kind of crazy thing. Amazon, he did the Amazon live thing. That was a huge fucking moment this year. I watched that whole hour-long thing on YouTube. But also, the shepherd and one of the composers for Spider-Man, beyond Across the Spider-Verse this year.
Was in the movie too.
Was in the movie.
Yeah.
I remember when his part comes up, I nudged my wife. I said, "That's Metro Boomin." Like that was like that's Metro Boomin. That was his voice. That was because again, it's like us being up there. You know what I mean? Like that was representation on another level. That was just so fucking cool. He had his own spider and everything. But branching off of that, one of the best soundtracks in the past 4 or 5 years.
It's crazy, and I didn't expect it, but yeah, he actually stood and delivered. Love the song with Coi Leray. One of my favorite songs of the year. Nonviolent Communication with fucking ASAP Rocky and 21 Savage and James Blake. Like, great fucking record.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
One of our bigger AMP records too. We played that a lot on AMP.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Nah, he just like, and, Metro's like one of those guys like of this generation who wants to be the best. Yeah. And he shows it in his output and just the way he kind of puts himself out there. And this was just one of those moments, man. I think one of the biggest movies of the year. And he stood and delivered one of the best soundtracks of the year.
No cuss words on the album.
Crazy.
0. He got two very big milestones. Future not cussing. That's one. And Lil Wayne to stay on topic.
Yeah.
Almost 2 on topic. if you listen to the verse, like I'm like, all right, with the spider puns, nigga, like he's going 2 on topic with that shit. But again, it's a kid's soundtrack that you could literally just play it. You know what I mean? There's nothing really like bad in the album. There's no parental advisory sticker on it. The beats are crazy. They play throughout the movie as well. So like when you listen to the movie, I think the soundtrack had released the day of the movie, so I hadn't actually heard it because you couldn't hear it until it came out after. And I was like, wow, they actually implemented the songs in the movie really, really amazingly.
Yeah,
it was dope.
Yep. Yeah. No, he absolutely did. I don't know. I just feel like we don't have those moments anymore where it's like a great movie, great soundtrack, and like now you have that audio to carry you on and remind you of the movie and make you harken back to it. So it was dope, man. I was really proud of just what he put out there. And I was just excited, man. It made me enjoy the movie that much more.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's to hoping that they invite him back. Whenever the new one comes out, we're probably gonna wait another 5 years.
I heard it's supposed to come out real soon because
they just started working on it.
Well, I thought they had worked on it at the same time as the first one. That's why they did the to be continued shit.
They were supposed to work on it. They split the movies in half during COVID. They hadn't started on the second part because they were only working on the first part, and they just started working on the first part. They say like a month ago, and it's holiday, so it's like that shit ain't coming out for a while. That's frustrating to hear because like a lot of people forgot that it was supposed to be 2 parts, and then you see the to be continued, and you're like, oh well, fuck, what the fuck are they gonna do next?
Yeah.
But speaking of next on the list, we're gonna get to the culture side of it. There's one in particular that everyone's talking about when they see the list. I feel like it's the first thing that people's eyes gravitate to. I don't know how it's happened. Like it's the first thing that Mark saw, first thing that I saw. Ozempic being on the list.
Big year for the Big O. Yeah, Ozempic had a year, and it's crazy because it's Ozempic is a diabetes drug.
Yes,
but somehow along the way, people found out that it was really it was really good for weight loss.
Yeah. It suppresses your appetite.
Yeah, it suppresses your appetite. And, just a ton of people ended up taking this for weight loss. And it's funny. I remember one day, like, this guy, Michael, I forget his last name. He's like a marketing guy. I forget who he works for, actually. He has good tweets. I'll link him in the bio or something when we put this out. But he had mentioned, he was talking about Ozempic on his Twitter. He was like, man, I heard there's like a black market for Ozempic now. Like, how much is it going for in the black market? And I was like, oh, you want to know? Because it's like $1,500 a shot.
No.
Yeah. $1,500 a shot is going for. I mean, I don't know if they flooded the market yet, but when he asked, that's how much it was. Because I knew somebody who was selling them. And, that was earlier in the year. It might have been like February, March. And just to see different celebrities coming out saying they're on it. And
or not saying they're on it.
Yeah. But
just showing up one day 50 pounds lighter.
But there's people who are actually admitting to it. And I don't want to put anybody's business out here because even if you admitted to it, I think that's probably not the best thing to admit to.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you take a look around, man, if you see anyone drop drastic weight in the last 6 months, they're probably on the big O.
I have seen so many of some of my favorite like follows, just like models and like stuff like that. Like some of them plus size models, right? They'll disappear for a couple weeks, and then they're fitness influencers all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, and then they're like, oh, I did this all because I was working out. I'm like, no, nah.
There's a few people who hit me up and were like, yo, I want to do an interview about Ozempic. I just got to get my questions and my mind in the right place.
Where's your mind at where it's not in the right place?
I mean, I just want to get like a list of questions and just because I'm concerned. I think in a few years it's going to be like a federal class action lawsuit where it's like, did you take Ozempic in 2023?
Because we don't know what happens to people that don't have diabetes down the line.
Yeah. We just don't know, period. These drugs people will be on, we don't know what the side effects are.
Has one thing that's bothered me, and like I don't know if you've necessarily thought of this or this is something that you know has come to mind. I remember there being such a, you know, body image is obviously a huge thing in society right now, clearly, in every community. Remember when like back in the day it was all about being skinny. Yeah. And then it was J-Lo's butt, and I really don't even feel like J-Lo's butt was like the thing that made everyone want a butt. Kim Kardashian probably was like the closest thing to that, and then everyone wanted to be thick. Now it's kind of, I'm seeing it kind of go back to people like going back to that. Is that kind of concerning you? Because it's kind of concerning to me where it's just like.
It's not concerning to me. I think it's just the ebb and flow of culture and just beauty more than anything. Yeah. It's funny because you look at it from like a health and just the generation that's coming up, and it's like you don't want them to, you know, there's a time where, you know, with the skinny period where it's like so many people like eating disorders and kids, not even people, kids, teenagers. So you definitely don't want that to be a thing. But for me, I think, like I said, it's the ebb and flow. You know, people are going to want different things. Yeah. But I do see it now. I see the skinny BBL. Yeah. And you know, even Kim Kardashian, I think she's a good barometer for it. Her whole family is like, Khloe's probably the best barometer. Yeah. So at one point she was skinny, then she wanted to be thick. Now she's back skinny, and it's like, how are you doing this?
Yeah. Is that like,
is this healthy? Yeah. Like, see, that's interesting, man. I think as a society, we're looking towards the skinny, like all the IG star tenders, they're all getting skinny now.
Somebody said in one of the comments, because there's this influencer that I follow, she said like, I got this body without Ozempic or some shit like that, and they were in her comments being like, yo, like that's not kind of like fucked up. Some people like actually like use that for like weight loss and shit like that. So people have like actual things that prevent them from losing weight by going to the gym. And somebody left a comment saying a pog today is a BBW in 2005.
I guess pog is such a weird term for me. I was
like, yo, pog. What is wrong with
still saying pog?
Pog is a terrible term. I've never been a fan of that term. Pog sounds like them things you used to play at those little circle things. Pogs.
There are pog, right? POG, like them joints, them little
only
circle.
Remember the slammer?
It's the only one I acknowledge.
The slammer piece. Yeah. Also on here, I had to put this on there because, you know, I have to wrongly rep Zeus wherever I go. I'm actually shocked Baddies isn't on here. I forgot to even mention.
I don't watch that shit.
Blueface and Krishan.
I barely even watch them, but they just all in my face everywhere the fuck I go. It's like it's
polarizing.
Crazy.
Polarizing.
Absolutely. Blueface's circus. He just and her, and it's just a lot going on, man. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know what to say.
Then he brings other people into it. He just brought Offset into it.
Yeah, brought Offset into it.
What the fuck?
Got his wife Jaden, or fiance, whatever the fuck they are.
It's a TV show.
It is a TV show. Hopefully they capitalize on it the right way and get the cameras on it. But
he has a new show coming out on Zeus top of next year where he's looking for the next female rap star. And I honestly feel like this is a bad move for Zeus. I mean, everything they do is bad.
He's a little Barry Gordy in him, man.
It's a bad move because you're opening up the opportunity for, again, the hysteria around him. You've seen the Blueface show that he had. Where Krishan comes from. Yeah. It was all fades all day.
Yeah, well, honestly, and that's why he's such a fucking genius.
But
he had the show before Zeus.
He did, yes.
Yeah, he had the show on like just OnlyFans and Ticket to Zeus.
But this was a time when he put that show out before, Josh, where it was like people weren't as bold and crazy as they are now. I feel like somebody's gonna try and do something crazier to top Krishan or to top whatever it is on that show. And I just got bad vibes. I'm gonna watch, but I got bad vibes about this show.
I mean, we'll see, man. I think he can give a hit.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
On, man, chill out.
In more ways than one. Yeah,
chill out.
I watched the show.
I listen to the music. What's the Barbie? The song is good.
Barbie's all right. Hey, there's one Blueface record that gets played a lot from these past 2 weeks I've been in LA. Soak City Remix, I've heard at least like 10 times.
Oh, yeah, come on, man. 3 Cent Baby. Come on. Inglewood.
Oh, my God. But I want to go for negativity.
Yeah.
I want to go positive here. A good friend of ours made a huge, cultural, he just been doing all types of crazy stuff, man. Our guy Trevon Edwards, man.
Clap it up for him, man.
Come on, man. Hold on. Let me grab
get the round of applause.
Grab the applause for him, bro. There you go.
Innovator of the year. Yeah. According to Ad Color.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trayvon. Had a huge year just from, all the stuff he's been doing at Wyden. Mm-hmm. The McDonald's All-American work.
Yeah.
Even just the community work that he's been doing.
Absolutely.
Wrote a book this year. I think he's one of those guys in culture who I kind of look up to and pay attention to and just always tap in with. Yeah. Just because I know he has his pulse. He has his hand on the pulse of culture and he understands what's going on from the music to the streets to the corporate world and tech and video games and basketball, sports, everything in between. So I was super proud to see him get that award this year. I think, well deserved. He's absolutely an innovator in the advertising space. And I think seeing that inspires a generation behind him.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's needed. I think you need kids to see themselves and see people like them and see people who come from places like them. And to see him go up across that stage and accept his award and a pair of Chucks. Like, just come on, man. Like, that's culture. So I had to put him on the list this year. Super proud of my guy. And just, excited to see what's next for him.
Me too.
I think this is just the beginning. I think I would hope that anyone that's on this list, from the Elliott Wilsons to Trayvons to the Blueface and Krishan's, like, coming off this list, you parlay this into something even bigger. Make me look like Josh Adamas.
I don't want whatever Blueface and Krishan parlay into, it will not be.
Hey man, they might fuck around and do a movie. could be a hit. But, another one.
But for Trayvon, like if and I say this, if anyone's ever had the pleasure of like sitting down and having a conversation with his brother, like do so. Or if you have already done so, you've probably walked away with it with a better viewpoint on life, just in general. I'm glad to be able to have his number if I just have a question, if I just want to ask him something or just to say what's up. You know what I mean? Like, he's somebody that always has a gem or always has something to offer or provide that will better your life. And, that is something that I look up to, same as Josh, just from innovation, but just being a good person. And so shout out to you, Trayvon. Congratulations to you as well. Mm-hmm. You made it on the list, of course, but not Stilo Brim.
Come on, man. Chill out. Right. Stilo Brim just opened up a restaurant out here, so I gotta go try it soon.
Yeah, that might be his way in. Where is it at?
I'm not sure the area. It might be West Hollywood. I think it's called Linden.
That's the MTV money.
Yeah,
right?
He getting some.
That's the MTV money.
See, look at that. Stilo Brim got robbed. Pinky Doll got robbed. This is tough times.
That's what I'm saying.
Was she this year?
Yes.
See, it's crazy. Forgot about that. It's crazy how that shit don't last. Like, shit, where the fuck is she now?
She's still doing it.
It's crazy.
She's doing.
Forgot
still
all
doing
about that. I thought that was last year.
No, she's still out there.
Should we get to the misses, or are we missing anything else?
I just want to say one more on the Culture Side podcast in general. Cameron and Mace, huge gift for them.
Yes.
Blog Era podcast. Shout out to It's the Real.
Man, shout out to those my guys.
Those are two, undoubtedly two of my favorite podcasts of the year.
Yep.
Again, I think you could wrap up the Blog Era in a bow. We don't have to talk about it no more after that podcast. I think that's just it. They gave the comprehensive guide to that, but. Let's get to the misses.
Yeah, the misses. So Pinky Doll, I guess, was a miss.
Yeah.
To some people, not to me. Didn't deserve it. You got to sustain the year. That's the thing. You got to be, if you pop off in January, you got to keep that shit going to December.
Yeah.
or you gotta, or wait your turn. One big miss that I'm so mad I missed. My boy Keith Lee.
How'd you miss that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what it is though? Towards the end of the year, he got a little corny.
What?
He went a little press run. I'm like, you doing complex eating chopped cheeses? Like, nigga, chopped cheeses are nasty. Period.
What?
Chopped cheese ain't on a dish that you just go and order.
But
I had one.
I don't even know where to start with you right now.
So you like it better when he was underground?
Not even when he's underground. I think. I don't know.
Mark crazy.
You know what it is? It's when some people talk too much. It's like you're doing a little too much talking.
That's his job.
Was the Atlanta thing a little bit too much? Made you come back a bit?
Nah, but it's like when you did Breakfast Club, and it's like, and then it's just a super positive.
Yeah, I will say.
Walk with God.
I will say this. The super positive shit get on my nerves.
It's like, nigga, you just reviewing food, which I appreciate. I like the positivity in food. I like when you tipping $2,000 and paying rent.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Stop saying God bless you, bro.
I don't mind all that when you're in the context of food and restaurants. But when you talking about people who don't like what you're doing, I walk with God. It's just like, chill out, bro. We all walk with God. He's with us all. He's on my shoulder right now.
He's right there on the other side, though.
But it's just, I don't know. I think just the end of this year, just it was so much press I saw. You sitting with Speedy, you sitting with everybody. I'm just
it's a press. He has representation.
Yeah,
I think that's clear. That's how he's getting these looks. But they might be prepping for the show that he's coming out with.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't want to shit on nobody, but when he did We Jamming at Flognaw, that was great. I hope they paid you well for that. Because We Jamming got some of the... I'll fuck with Chef Courtney. You know you my guy. I fuck with the cafe. Jamaican food could be hit or miss. And this nigga was talking about this shit was fire. I was like, hold up, man. Hold on.
You sounded like NY resident Meals talking about he did it wrong. He ain't do it New York the right way.
He did LA cool. I just... when some reviews you be looking at with a side eye. Because when you really from the city... And that was when I was like,
try.
I just had Jerk Wings Cafe the other day. Not bad.
Jerk Wing Cafe. I don't know if I had that. Where's that at?
It was kind of close. It was called on Uber Eats. It was called the Jamaican Jerk, and then when I typed it in Maps, it was called Jerk Wings Cafe.
Is that somewhere in the valley?
Yeah, it's in the valley.
Oh, yeah. I know. I've seen it on Uber Eats before. I've never ordered it before.
Is it a ghost kitchen? Did they actually have a storefront?
No. They had a whole storefront. It was an interesting looking building. We had to go in because on Uber Eats the oxtail plate was like $50. We were like, "You are wilding!" But
I told y'all not to order.
In store, it was different.
Don't order oxtail on Uber.
Well, this is my thing, bro. You want to go to get some Jamaican food in your area? I'm gonna send you a spot. 876. That's the only place to go to get Jamaican food. Anything else?
No gatekeep. I might want that tonight.
876.
I might want that tonight. I've been big on Mongolian barbecue lately.
Oh, yeah, that's a good spot. There's a good spot on Burbank. That's really good. But yeah, man, Keith Lee, big miss from me. Another one was No Free Coffee. Shout out to Mario, that's my guy.
Yes, sir.
Opened up a store in Japan, opened up the Nashville store. I don't know how I missed him.
He did it all this year too.
Yeah, he went up this year. Did the Complex Con, not Complex Con. He did Family Style.
Family Style. Yeah.
Did a Converse collab.
I love seeing from him is like how he like will post pictures of how he designs the storefronts. Like those are always really cool to see. Like he's such a talented brother. We had him on the show. You look back in our archives. He was on AMP during a fucking snow a storm. Yeah, not a snowstorm, a real storm. Shout out to him. We got to have him back on.
Yeah, we got to get him back on. We can talk about the snub.
Do you want to talk about the snub?
Sure, why not, man?
Well, we got to get Reese on too then.
I embrace the fire.
We got to get Reese on too then.
Yeah, we should. Another one I missed this year was Offset. I feel like Offset had the album wasn't my favorite, but I just think the performances was the thing I missed. All the Michael Jackson callbacks, the dancers on stage with him. Loved his TikTok performance. Yeah. He went crazy.
I think we talked earlier about people who were very much into making a great album. And I think he was one of those artists that you were talking about that was like so into making a great project. Now I feel the same way as you. It wasn't sequenced the best. It could have been shorter. I thought it was a lot of fluff on it, but it was still solid. And I spun it for about 2 weeks, which is longer than most things. I think he really showed us this year that he wants to be an artist, and I would love to see what he does next in 2024.
Yeah, well, I heard he's dropping an album this year too. So looking forward to that.
I hope so. Yeah.
Another one that I missed. I'm so sad. I missed this one.
Your album of the year.
My album of the year, Don Toliver. I don't know. I listened to that on the way here.
Yeah.
Still great fucking project. Was a great feature across other people's projects, Offset's projects. Mm-hmm. You know, I think Don is just one of those generational talents. Excited to see what he does next.
But you did a really dope experiential
thing
with him
work
as well.
with him, helped him put out his Lovesick movie on Amazon Prime currently. Did a screening event, Q&A with him and some fans.
Really dope.
Yeah, man, Don had a great year. He was a part of my year, so yeah, you know, it helped me have a great year.
And I wouldn't have expected Lovesick to be as good as it was. Like I liked the last joint. It was cool. I spun it for, it was like a pandemic album. So it was like, again, it reminds you of those times. But this one was like special. Like from the features to the production to the story that it tells throughout it. Yeah. Really, really great. I'm like, I feel like I have a new obsession with the song every week. This week is the Brent Faiyaz song. Listen to that a whole lot this week. There's a lot of really great records on that album.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, that was one I really, really sad I missed because that was my album of the year for sure.
Yep. What's the last miss?
The last miss is controversial in my mind and heart, but I think he had a big year. Tizo touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Dogs will beat us.
Yeah, put out a great project. Was featured on Drake's project, Don Toliver's project. Mm-hmm. Who else was he on this year? He was on a couple of projects this year.
Tyler was last year.
But yeah, Tizo was everywhere. Featured on Travis Scott's project.
Oh yeah, he was.
Travis Scott's project on Travis Scott's tour. Had a very consistent look throughout the year.
Yes.
Stood on that look, nails in his hair, post-it notes, football pads.
The mattress.
Yeah, just it was really cool, man. It was good to see new storytelling in hip hop.
New looks, new visuals.
Yeah, new looks, new visuals. Like he's another one. He's like one of those kids carrying the torch for the next generation. Just wish he rapped more. I think that would make me just turn the corner with him a little bit more. But man, it's not for everybody. But
I mean, luckily I'm having
great
top
song.
10 record this year.
Oh man, top 10 record.
I loved it.
This decade.
Off a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Off a deluxe.
That's the crazy part about it. I'm like, that should have been the full album. That should have a video and everything.
Exactly. How'd y'all miss that? You know what I mean? Like that was a record that on the album would have catapulted it. Like it would have been unassailable at that point.
I will say that the Lovesick Deluxe has some heaters on there because Embarrassed with Travis Scott that was good. Is one of them ones.
Mm-hmm. It was rare, really good deluxe. Have you noticed that there's been less deluxes this year?
Yeah, has there been?
I feel like
everybody doing the deluxe. I think that's just a part of the cycle.
Yeah, I feel like there has. I'll name a miss. Hot Tub Streams.
Not for me. I'm still learning what that is. Honestly,
Twitch.
I mean, you brought up people that don't last from January to December. Wasn't Bobby this year, 2023?
Oh yeah,
Bobby Althoff.
I was about to say, who the fuck is Bobby?
Wow. I thought about Schmurda too. I was like, yeah, he's in Dubai right now with some busted joints.
Yeah, Bobby Althoff. Yeah, she didn't last.
Oh, man,
what the fuck is she doing now?
I think she's still doing the pod.
Hey man,
but she's only talking to white folk.
Didn't last.
That's great. Yo, Drake ended her career.
Yes,
Drake ended her career.
Hey man, that's how it goes sometimes.
That's what happens. Hey, shout out Drake. If they ain't like your album, we like that move. That was a good move right there. But another year done, Josh. Yeah. ASF List. How you feeling?
I feel great, man. I was just telling somebody the other day, like, next year's list will be the best one yet.
Okay.
I'm doing a book for sure. Gonna do an award show. I'm just putting it out there. It'll be something in the flesh. Possibly sending around some physical awards to people.
Yeah.
I've been like plotting on this idea for a little bit of time, but I think next year's the year I do it. So I'm gonna really buckle down and make sure that happens.
Hey,
She'll definitely get like a yearbook.
We cannot wait to see that shit. That's gonna be dope. You were talking about this idea for a while, and you know, I want to see it come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I think for me, it's just like the progression of this whole list thing. I think, you know, anybody could do a list, and I encourage all you guys to do a list, but the reason why I do it is just to really honor the people that inspired us throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think the best way to do that is to make it some type of physical form. So that's the next step.
Absolutely. Thank you to everyone that listens. Shout out to everybody that made the list. Shout out to everybody that missed the list, including Keith Lee. We still got to talk about that.
Hey, man.
But hey, thank you guys for listening to this ASF special edition kind of B-sides-y version of the BlkPrint. We'll be right back with you guys for the next episode of the BlkPrint coming out a little bit later this week. It's New Year's. Give us some time. But we also got to get to the Throwblacks. So Throwblacks is happening this month in January. Speaker box love below. And I guess we'll have a list of other things we're going to be doing for Throwblacks this year. The thing about Speaker box love below, it's just so fucking long, bro.
Hey, man. Gotta get to it.
It's a long album, bro. But we'll get to it. We'll have a release date for that for you guys within the coming days. So thank you guys for listening. For Josh and Mark, I'm J5. We'll see you guys later on the BlkPrint. Peace.